Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. In the last episode, Akiho Sumio gave the most heartfelt, passionate speech she's ever given in her entire life. But while this call to arms had a rather dramatic effect on not only the remainder of the Robotics Club, but others as well, such as Robot Doc Fujita. Back here at Chofu Airport, yeah, not so much. The clear sound of applause echoes across the dark runway. Without breaking his smile, Kou Kimijima claps his hands, gun still drawn on Airi. I thought as much. Yeah, he's still the one holding the bargaining chip. And unfortunately, Akiho, a robot, isn't going to help this situation. Not this time. This is his response to Akiho's courageous declaration.
つまり君たちはこう言いたいわけだ。自分たちの手でお姉さんを殺してやると。
I would say that I hope it doesn't come to that. But then again, we can't guarantee that that won't happen either.
なかなか素直だね。そういうのは好きだよ。
Straightforward. That's Akiho Sumio in a nutshell.
世の中には本音を隠して適当な建前を言う人間ばかりだからね。
Indeed they do. It's called personality, I believe.
でもそうか。残念だよ。
That declaration means that Akiho Sumio and everyone else are firmly challenging Kou Kimijima.
世界を救うために親しい人をあえて殺す道を選ぶなんて勇敢ではあるが君たちは本当に野蛮で残酷だ。
This coming from the man who devised one of the main schemes of the Committee of 300 for his own twisted sense of amusement. Kou Kimijima scoffs at us. He once again places his hand over Airi's, one holding the gun. Yeah, we are still in this pitfall. And we still have no way out of it. Airi's finger is already on the trigger. Yeah. And we are literally helpless to do anything to stop him. From taking her life. The muzzle was still pressed against her temple.
だったら手始めに君たちがそういう選択をしたことでどういう結果がもたらされるのか一つ事例を示してみようか。
No.
入りを話せ。その人は無関係だろ。
無関係？いいや、 そんなことはないよ。
Are you referring to Airi? Or the AR version?
今の今まで彼女は僕の人質だった。
Well, nice to know that you're now dropping all sense of pretense. Yeah. Kou's been controlling Airi from the very start.
そして今は君たちが見捨てた人質だ。
That was because Kaito had other concerns. And as a result, we didn't realize the true threat until it was far too late.
やめて。
君たちが選んだんだよ。残酷な君たちが世界を救おうとするその意志と引き換えにした命だ。
I refuse to be judged by the man who is going to take her life regardless of whether or not that was true. Bastard.
やめろ。
だから僕はこの女を容赦なく殺すよ。
You truly are a truly despicable individual, Kou Kimijima.
君たちが種子島に来て美咲と戦おうとするならどういう結末が待っているか。
The fate you set in motion by your own actions.
それをしっかりと理解してもらうためにもね。君たちも決して目をそらしてはいけない。見届けるんだ。君たちが見捨てた命の最後を。
If we were going to abandon her, we would have left her in cold sleep. Even from this distance, I can tell. The finger that Airi has on the trigger has begun to tense up.
よせ。
Unfortunately, all we can do is scream at him. If she squeezes any further, Airi's going to die. And more will follow in her wake.
せっかく10年ぶりに目覚めたっていうのに。
Again, that's on you, Kou Kimijima. You were never going to let her survive in the first place.
恨むなら世界の救世主になりたがっている彼らを恨むといいよ。
As opposed to the man who pretended to be a savior. Just for his own facetiousness.
さようなら、アイリ。
You miserable piece of shit.
よせ。
There's nothing we can do.
ボイちゃん。
What the? Suddenly a rainbow-colored bullet with a strange voice zips across my field of vision. That bullet flies directly at Airi. It's no bullet, Kaito. It snatches the gun from her hand and soars high into the air. Bet you didn't see that one coming, Kou, and if I'm being perfectly honest, neither did I. But there it is. Sometimes luck can be a true bitch. in the very real sense.
おいんちゃんじゃね
でかしたぞ太郎
Never thought I'd say this, but congratulations, Taro. You've saved us all.
おじきのインコか
Yes, indeed. The parakeet. What the hell? Airi's life was in the hands of that bird. What would have happened if he'd screwed up? What would have happened if he hadn't done that, Kaito? I internally curse up a storm as I dash towards Airi. Be that as it may, Kaito, Taro has given us the opportunity we need. Too bad, Kou Kimijima. As if her strings have been cut, Airi collapses to the floor powerless. Well, he may have been defeated this round, but our battle with Kou Kimijima is far from over. After all, we can't deal with him on the physical plane anymore. Would that it be otherwise. But Misaki already technically, took that out of our hands. Looks like she's been freed from Kou Kimijima's spell. I hurriedly pick Airi up. Well, there shouldn't be anything stopping us from reaching Taniyashima now. Not anymore. Her body is shockingly light.
君島孔明消えやがった
No, of course he did, given that he's an AR construct. He was never really here to begin with. At least on the third dimension. Mitchie is using his Pokécom to look around. Did Kou Kimijima really withdraw? Good question. I doubt it. He must be waiting for us on Tanigashima. Waiting for the final settlement once and for all.
今のうちに出発しよう
Good thinking, Akiho. Good call. We all nod in response to Akiho's suggestion. Our enemy has revealed himself at last. We need to take the most of this while we still can. Or make the most of this, I should say. I rush into the plane with Airi on my back. I wonder what Shigami would have been thinking about all this. Then again, I expected that he was focused on trying to make sure that the plane was ready for takeoff. The sexual harassment parakeet also comes flying in, handgun in its claws. Yeah. Unlike with what happened with Sawada, Kaito, I think we're going to need that handgun this time around. Call it a hunch. After checking to make sure everyone's on board, we stow the air stair. With the door closed and locked tight, I shout toward the cockpit.
父さん出して
Indeed. Fire away, Shigami. The propellers start spinning slowly at first, and they gradually gain speed. We're on our way. At last. I sit Airi down in one of the seats and fasten the seatbelt. The aircraft starts to slowly taxi toward the runway. After making sure Airi is secure, I plant myself next to Akiho. I fasten my seatbelt, take a deep breath, and Akiho puts her hand over mine. Yeah. It's time to put an end to this. At last. Her hand is shaking like crazy. Who wouldn't be nervous? She's about to face Misaki. Misaki, the real Misaki, after 7 years, but not as a sister, as an enemy. She says my name, but immediately hangs her head low.
感つくわに
As if it were going to be anyone else. Akiho's tearing up again. She's doing everything in her power not to burst into tears. Our fingers intertwine and she grips my hand tightly. Her nails are digging into me. It hurts, but I can deal with it. It's not the worst pain we'll feel, by
感つく
far.
わねお姉ちゃんを倒して
And Kou Kimijima to boot.
お願い
任せなよ。俺は最初からそのつもりさ。
Oh, it's the only plan you got now.
離陸の準備が整いましたので、これより出発いたします。
And let's not wait any longer.
JAC 特別便午後9時23分発種子島直行便です。
But of course, as the captain of this fine aircraft, Shigami has his duties to perform as
緊
the
急時の
pilot.
中飛行計画を出してもらいます。予期せぬ急上昇、急降下、進路変更などあるかもしれない。どうかご心配を。
Weather conditions are the least of my concerns. Yeah. Although I doubt that we'll be intercepted, though that is a possibility.
必ず皆さんを種子島に送り届けます。
Putting all our hopes on you now, Shigami.
短い間で空の旅をどうぞお楽しみください。
Will do.
それとカイト、私はお前のことを誇りに思います。
Ah, so he was watching.
アキちゃんとミサちゃん、よろしくお願いします。
ああ、分かってる。
The engine starts to roar. The plane suddenly accelerates. I can feel the G-force pushing down on my entire body. The plane's frame inclines diagonally, and the ground outside the window slowly grows distant. So long, Chofu, and so long, Tokyo. It's been fun. Farewell, Tokyo. I'll see you again, I'm sure, under happier circumstances. But now, it's time to head home, to Tanegashima Island, for the final showdown. Even if there's a war waiting for us there, it's time to return to the island that time itself had left behind, the island where we were born, the island where all this will finally come to a head. And I'm sure they're waiting for us. This is where our game starts, Phase 12, Heliosphere Connector. Achievement unlocked, Heliosphere Connector. The aircraft approaches the skies above Tanegashima. And of course it's morning. Morning of the 27th of February, 2020, Thursday. This aircraft model has a maximum flight range of about 1,700 kilometers. It's a propeller plane, so I thought its range would be shorter, but it was actually more than enough. I figured that we'd be landing at the new Tanegashima airport, but Dad announced that we're heading for the old one, because that's where Gunbuild 1 is being kept and worked on, and time is short. I suppose it saves us some trouble if we land there. Indeed it will. But The old airport's runway hasn't been used in over 10 years. Just be glad that it doesn't have potholes or anything in it. That would be terrible. Plus, there are no guidance lights, and thanks to the rain, visibility is poor. I don't think we need to worry about that issue, Kaito. I think we've got that taken care of. I told Dad that he didn't have to land there in these conditions. But we have to, if we're going to take on Misaki and Kou. But according to Dad, there's been no response from the new airport's control tower. That's because Misaki's team have taken it over. It's possible that something happened there. The decision to land at the old airport was made with that in consideration. Well, it's not like my opinion really matters here. Not really, Kaito. I should leave this one to the professionals. As the plane prepares to land, we all sit down and buckle up. After Airi woke up, Akiho switched seats and is now sitting next to her, holding her hand to try and make her feel better. Yeah, she'll be feeling the weight of everything that's going on as well. The man that she trusted with her life has betrayed her. It's almost dawn. Tanegashima looks dark from up here, but it doesn't seem like the power's out. In fact, despite it being before dawn, there are lights on inside quite a number of houses. Mizune, who's still waiting over at the JAXA headquarters, or control area. Are you down there? She is. And she'll be waiting.
全員衝撃に備えてください
Good thing we're wearing seatbelts. Outside the window, the ground is already drawing near. When landing at the old Tanegashima airport, you pass right over Nakatane. I can very clearly see the lights on inside a bunch of houses. That is estimating the position of the runway using only those lights. If we crashed in the middle of town, it would be a huge disaster. But let's not crash. No, I trust him. He knows what he's doing. I believe in my dad. It's then that the frame of the plane suddenly drops. Despite wearing my seatbelt, my body floats up in the air and I nearly hit my head on the ceiling.
おっ学校がぶつかる
Calm down, Mitchie. Yep, that sure is the roof of our school getting real close. The aircraft just barely glides over it.
悪いお知らせです
Bad on us, Shigami.
どうやら故障でランディングギアが出ないようです
Well, there was bound to be a snag in our plan somewhere. It's not Shigami's fault, he did everything he could. But even he knew that something would go wrong.
はあ
Looks like we're gonna get that impact after all. You've got to be kidding me. It was, well, it's not the worst case scenario. But as far as case scenarios go, it's pretty
で
bad.
すがご安心を私は必ず皆さんを種子島に送り届けると約束したはずです約束は守るそれが空の男というものです
Is now the time to be acting cool.
茂みおじさん頑張れ
At least Akiho has hope.
おう 種子島魂見せたれ
And even Sumio's on board.
よろしく頼むよ父さん。
頭を下にして丸くなってください。これより胴体着陸します。
It's not like we have a choice. A staggering impact explodes under my feet. The intense sound of metal scraping against pavement echoes throughout the cabin. Well, we always knew this was going to be a one-way trip. If we overshoot the runway, there's nothing but a cliff at the end waiting for us. Will we stop in time?
止まれ
One way to find
止
out.
まれあ
Oh, we stopped. The shaking stops. And it doesn't seem like we're over a cliff. The engine stops as well, and the inside of the plane is blanketed in silence.
当機は予定より4分遅れで旧種子島空港に到着しました。
Well, 4 minutes will have to do.
おじゃりもせ、種子島へようこそ。
We've arrived. At last. You're out of your mind, Dad. But he's exactly the kind of pilot we needed, Kaito. And stop trying to act cool.
みんな早く外に脱出しよう
Indeed. Let's. This thing could very well explode at any moment, or minute. We disembark and make a dash for the hangar. As the candy carries Airi on his large back, and of course, it's raining.
こっちこっちです
That's Juno shouting at us there, Kaito. We need to get inside. We need to get inside now. Juno is there to greet us, waving a flashlight around wildly. She leads us into the hangar. Yes, let's get out of this pouring rain.
ああ焦った
Indeed it was. It was crazy. But just crazy enough to work. So that is where we're going to end this episode of Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. And when we return, adventurers, we have our work cut out for us. As always, until next we meet.